welcome back everybody to the Spacetime sessions. This is Ep.6, Retirement of the Sith, in reference to Mr. Jon Jones. So we have some stuff that we want to discuss that I wanted to get out of the way before any more time passes, specifically in regards to F317. So it's not a secret that Ben and I are huge Charles fans. The guy just is an amazing human being. He's let me rearrange that. He's an amazing fighter and even more amazing human being, right? In complete contrast to someone like Jon Jones, but the guy is just, he's just an amazing guy. I don't usually do the star thing, but Charles made an appearance at a pub here around the way where we live, and Ben told me about it, and he asked me if I was interested in doing it. And generally, that is not something I do. I'm not a star chaser by any means at all, just because I've had people who I know who've had bad experiences and stuff, and I'm not trying to not like someone I already like. But when he told me that, I was immediately like, yeah, let's go. And, the guy couldn't be nicer. The guy is just a genuine person. He Ben also told me he's having a biopic coming out on him soon, and that's probably something I'm gonna go see in the theater. I generally don't go. It takes a lot to get me into a theater. I'll probably will go see that. But with that said, I'm just gonna say my piece on it.
Okay.
I was very, very disappointed in the ending there. I had a lot of hopes. I had a genuine, sincere belief that Charles was going to pull it off. I really did, but you know, things went down the way they did, and we can discuss it. But that's really my take on that whole night.
So I figured we were going to talk about this at some point just because, that's what we do. That's what this show is. I think you and I secretly had this agreement over the last couple of days that we would not talk about it because I
Oh yeah,
certainly didn't do it. So,
it was an
but
unspoken agreement.
yeah, that we would just like not talk about it, pretend that it didn't happen.
100%.
Um, but so looking back on this fight, I definitely say that it does hurt more than the Islam when he lost to Islam, just because of the way it happened and the outcome, who it was against. But I mean, before I get into it, like first off, like I do want to give credit to Ilya. The dude's on a amazing tear.
He is.
He's knocked out Vogue, Holloway, and now Charles, and he's just on this incredible run. And he's probably one of the biggest star, if not the biggest star in the UFC currently right now.
Right.
Um,
And so just to piggyback off what you said real quick, listen, as much as I love Charles, I'd have to be some kind of, I don't know what, to deny what the man has just done in his last three fights. So,
yeah, I think so. When I saw Charles go down, my face, everything went into shutdown mode, and I couldn't even bring myself to cry because it was just like what just happened. And I think Charles did make the mistake because his game plan to walk Ilya down, there's certain guys you can't do that with. And
mhm.
I believe he thought that he could do that with Ilya, and a guy like Ilya knew that was going to happen, so he countered everything that Charles was doing. He was waiting for it, and we saw the end result.
Yeah, and like you said, I think when Charles hit him with that Muay Thai elbow, I think he may have gotten a little false sense of
Greedy.
power, or yeah, and so he was like, all right, when I think the better approach should have been, okay, I dropped one. I think with a guy like Ilya, I don't know who has the capability to go out there and starch that dude, right? I think with Ilya, the way you beat him is you have to have in your head that this is going to be a 5 round fight, and it's going to just be a compilation or an accumulation of blows. I'm going to hit you with 20 elbows, 15 kicks, 14 liver shots, for 5 rounds, I think is how you
Hmm.
beat this guy. I don't see a lot of guys that are gonna go out there and starch him. I really don't.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree. I think the closest we saw to someone beat him was Holloway, which
Hmm.
probably to you and I, he was probably up 2-0 in that fight before he got
Yeah,
knocked out.
hundred
So
percent.
that's probably the closest we ever saw. And I think that he's only going to keep getting better. I do think that he's probably one of the top, or if not the best boxer in the UFC. So I don't think that people should say I'm gonna try to trade with him, or I'm going to try to knock him out. Their game plan should be to take him down, and I don't know if you felt the same way, but when we saw Charles, or when I saw Charles go for a takedown, and I saw that he couldn't bring down Ilya, that kind of shocked me because it was like we kind of saw what Charles did to Chandler, and Chandler's a much bigger guy than Ilya, and it went through my mind like, is Ilya that strong that he was able to defend almost like two takedowns off of Charles?
I don't know that Ilya is strong. He probably is strong. I'm sure he's strong. But Ilya's a wrestler. He
Hmm.
started as a wrestler.
Yeah.
So he knows how to defend those takedowns. So if anything, I would say it's a combination of both things. Ilya is definitely strong, and Ilya is definitely a very skilled wrestler.
Was there any hope when Charles got the leg lock? Because I thought that he was going to get it.
Here's the thing that I when guys sink in a darce or a rear naked or a ninja choke or any of those, I think in your head you have to be like, okay, this dude isn't tapping. I'm not gonna blow out my arms. It's only the first round. I'll try it again later or whatever. I'm not a fan of guys hanging on to those kinds of submission attempts for too long. The legs, however, are different. If you're trying for a heel hook or a knee bar, anything like that, I think you can go with that a longer time, which is what he was doing. I thought he had the heel hook in. He was a little too high on it.
Hmm.
Like he needed to get down more. But again, Ilya knows exactly what the hell he's doing. So it's different in that sense for him in that he wasn't able to secure it. And it was the first round when they're much drier, right? As opposed to
Yeah.
trying that something in the second round, third round.
All over social media because I unfollowed the UFC. I unfollowed a lot of these MMA pages that I followed because I don't want to see that happening over and over again. And it's weird because I'm such invested into this sport and so invested into someone like Charles who I did meet, but I'm sure he doesn't remember me. And it feels like if it feels like I saw like a family member lose. That's kind of what it felt like.
Yeah, yeah.
And all over social media, I don't think I saw one happy post that Ilya won. I think the people that are happy that Ilya won are like the casual fans who just like these flashy knockout guys. Because
Hmm.
I've been seeing a lot of MMA posts with like 300,000 Charles fans on each and every single one. Probably accumulates to probably, I don't know, maybe like 2 million or 3 million Charles fans who were upset. And I was talking to some of my friends because there's two that are like really big like Charles fans, and they were basically saying how they even went as far as to delete their Instagram because they just didn't want to see anything related to that.
Yeah, and that's the crazy thing. Like I said, I don't have social media, but it's crazy the amount of videos and posts that kept being pushed at me in regard to it. I'm like, bro, I know, I saw the freaking thing. I don't need you to,
Hmm.
right? And but your metaphor as far as Charles's loss is couldn't be more on point because we met him right for the all of the 5 minutes that we met him.
And
The
because
dude,
of the way we've invested ourselves into him too.
yeah, it's one of the few times or one of the very few people that I've done that with. And so yeah, it's like you said, it was like watching like if my cousin was fighting for the title that night. It
Hmm.
would hit me in a different way. And that's how it felt, right? And like you said, the the first time when he lost against Islam 2 years ago, was it however
Yeah,
long
I
ago that
think I,
was?
I think like 3 years ago now.
I stayed away from social media and that stuff for
So
the
that
longest. It took so long for me to start crawling back to any of that stuff because I didn't want to see it.
yeah.
And now it's all over again, the same thing, right?
And this is one of my like hot takes, but I don't think Charles can beat a guy like Ilya, but I do think I still 100% believe that he can beat Islam still because of their styles.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Styles make fights 100%. I don't disagree with that at all.
Mhm.
My genuine belief is that it wasn't a beatdown, so he doesn't really necessarily need to take a whole lot of time off, but it was still a knockout, and it's
Yeah.
not a good idea to come back from knockouts really quickly.
I yeah,
But
I c-
I think I really don't think there's a whole lot of people in that division who will give him problems now. The question is how badly did Ilya get into his head?
yeah, I
You
mean,
know?
I couldn't agree more. The earliest I would want to see Charles and like the absolute earliest is end of the year card. That's the
Oh,
earliest I
I think
would
that's way too for
the
me. I
six
think that's
months
way too
off.
early. Yeah, I think
Like
that's way too
like
early.
that's the earliest I would if he did come back. That's the earliest I would want to see him back. And at work and the people who are watching are probably gonna think it's very corny, but I was scrolling on Twitter, scrolling past things that I didn't want to see, and I saw that Charles made a tweet, and Charles put my apologies. And when I tell you it took everything in me to not like shed a tear, I was like, damn. I was like, you don't gotta apologize, bro.
Yeah, it's and I say not the end of the year for me only because I think he needs to get straight mentally
Mm-hmm.
because the fight wasn't even around, right?
No, it was like two
So
and a half minutes.
yeah, it's not physical wise for him. I don't
Mm-hmm.
believe at all. I think he needs to get straight in the head,
I agree.
and that generally takes longer than healing mentally takes longer than it does physically. It's just the way it is.
And unless you have something more you want to add after this, I do want to say that the last couple of things I will say about Charles is that I do believe I haven't fully given up that he could be a champ again because you saw guys like Poirier who got 3 title shots. Gaethje's probably gonna get his third title shot, and Charles just lost his second attempt, but he won one. So Charles probably still has one more shot left, and then the thing is with Charles, he'll keep getting these big fights because of his name, and a lot of names, and a name that I've been seeing thrown around, which I kind of hope doesn't happen. People are saying that if Max Holloway were to beat Poirier later this month, that they would do Charles versus Max for the BMF belt, and kind
Yeah,
of
I
and
did
kind
see
of
that.
for a number one contender again.
Yeah, I did see that. So here's the thing, right? I 100% do believe that Charles can get in that conversation again, but the problem is this.
We need to
That piece
win
of
at
shit,
least like 2 or 3 more fights to for them to be like okay.
that piece of shit Dana has something against Charles
Hmm.
and keeps him out of the conversation or out of contention fights, and Charles isn't getting any younger. He's not
Yeah,
old, but he's not getting any younger.
he doesn't have a lot of
And
time left. Yeah,
he doesn't have a lot of time left, and he's in a position where if it was me, I'm not looking to fight number sevens, number nines, I'm not. I'm
you
not.
still
I'm
want top
looking.
five guys.
I only want to fight meaningful fights that are going to get me a shot at the title.
Hmm.
And Dana, that piece of shit, is probably in his head saying, "Well, look what Ilya just did to you. You got to get to the back of the line and work your way back up there again." No, bro. Name
Yeah,
name some. There's probably not even two or three guys in that division that you can name that can give Charles a fight for this position. So no,
yeah,
I don't go. I don't believe that at all. But yeah, I would like to see that. I definitely don't want to see the Max fight. That would be really tough to watch.
yeah.
Something that if it comes down to it, I hate that stupid belt. I hope it would go to 5 rounds and a decision. Right? I don't want to
I hope
see
it
any
ends
of
in a
those
draw,
things.
that fight.
I, I am not trying to watch that fight for nothing in the world. All right. Unless you have something else in
I'm all
regards to
good.
Charles. All right. Let's move on.
Yeah.
In the episode title, I called it "The Retirement of the Sith." Thank God he's gone, as if we didn't know what he was doing. I wrote down some notes in regards to Jon. For me, I think this is probably going to be the ending of my take on Jon Jones. I don't ever want to talk about this clown again, and especially when it comes to him being called the GOAT or even mentioned in that conversation, right? So
Yeah.
for me, I don't think Jon Jones should be in the conversation for GOAT, and this is based solely on what he's done in the UFC. He's a piece of shit human being, but I'm not even going to mention any of the things he's done.
Yeah.
At least not now, right? So here's my thoughts that I organized into a little piece
Okay.
here. Jon Jones should not be in the conversation of greatest of all time for any reason based solely on his repeated steroid violations. Okay, one and this is, you guys could probably recite this from memory now. I've said it so many times. Once is a mistake, everybody gets a pass. 2 times, that's choice. 3 times, I am going to assume you've been doing this the entire time. Jon Jones has been cheating his entire career. He was just better at the testing than the testers. Well, how can you say that? Okay, very easy. I have 2 words for you: Lance Armstrong. That's it. End of debate. Because his consistent cheating undermines the legitimacy of his achievements, he cannot be considered or even in the conversation for the GOAT. His repeated failures to me completely eliminate any authenticity of his performances. I think to be considered the GOAT, you have to have a skill and dominance, but an integrity in what you do in the sport, in that octagon, right? Hiding from testers, being who he is, having events moved, that is not anyone who should even be in consideration for him. So for me, the GOAT will continue to be GSP, period.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree more with what you said. I do love that video where DC calls him out when he's like, you don't deserve this," and
Yeah.
Joe is, "You don't think people learn from their mistakes?" And he's like, "Mistakes." He's like, "You don't constantly make mistakes." Over.
Sobering truth is his history dictates and determines that the same thing is going to happen. That is his character. That is him at his core. I look at that young lady, the PR lady that's on his team now, and I see in her eyes, she knows she's fighting a losing battle. I look at his coaches. I see that these guys know that this kid will not change. He will not change. He's the same guy. He's rotten at his core, and he will continue to up.
Don't you think that people can learn from their mistakes?
Mistakes? Mistakes. You don't constantly make mistakes.
No?
You make mistakes, but you don't do them over and over
No?
and over and over. No.
No? Says who?
You don't do that. If
Says
you
who?
know when you make a mistake, it changes you. You try to make yourself better.
Not necessarily.
And this is, many times we've heard this speech. John, this isn't the first time you've told us this.
No,
same
absolutely.
thing.
You know what?
This isn't the first time you've told us that. So how am I supposed to believe this guy?
Yeah.
Over.
Yeah.
I mean, it's true because at some point, enough is enough with John, and like I personally, I can't rank him in the GO conversation or a top 5, top 10, just because I'm gonna assume that he was dirty every single fight that he participated in, and who knows? Maybe if he didn't cheat, I believe that he had the skills and the talent that he didn't need to cheat, but unfortunately he did. And if he didn't cheat, who knows? Maybe me and you can sit here and say, yeah, Jon Jones is the greatest fighter to ever walk the planet, but he has failed drug tests, so
there's a thing in me that is like when people say, well, how can you say he's not the GOAT? Look at his body of work and everything. Okay, that's fantastic. No one's denying the body of work. But when the body of work comes with a ton of questions, you automatically have to asterisk that guy. Just like Bobby Bonilla. Jesus Christ. I'm forgetting his name. That dude is not the home run king to me.
Barry Bonds, you
Absolutely
mean?
not. Barry Bonds, Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
Oh, I have Bobby Bonilla on the brain because they just paid him yesterday.
yeah,
The
yeah.
Mets
It's
are something else.
yeah, it's Barry Bonds. Yeah, I mean,
Only 10 more payments.
I think I remember you asked me who is the home run king, and then I think I said Hank Aaron, and you were like, to me he is, and then I don't know that it was Barry Bonds.
Because that's the correct answer.
Yeah,
If someone asks me who's the home run king, Hank Aaron. No, 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 no. You mean Barry Bonds? No, 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 no. I didn't say guys who cheated and blew up to look like the Hulk.
hmm
No, guys who legitimately did it. And
I
it
do have
really
yeah.
it really bothered me when Hank Aaron they asked him about it and everything, and he did the classy thing, oh, Barry Bonds is a great player and this and that and he deserves it. I mean, you put the guy on the spot, what's he gonna say? And he's a classy guy, but that really irked me to see that.
Yeah. I do have a question for you. So, we know that Jon Jones has a bunch of scandals outside of the whole steroid and cheating. So, hypothetically, if he was clean, right? And if you knew he was clean, but he still had all of these other scandals, would you say he's the GOAT? Or no, because of the person he is outside of the ring, which a lot of people, like to separate.
Yeah, a lot of people do love to say that stuff, right? Well, you can't listen. What he does outside the ring is his business. 100%, it is. It's 100% his business. But what you have to understand is, and it just reminded me of, I think it was Barkley who said a million years ago. Listen, we're not role models, right, for your kids. We're human beings. The role models for these kids should be their mothers and fathers and et cetera, et cetera. Unfortunately, and so this is just the way my brain works. The show that you turned me on to, that Friday Night Tykes, there's so many of those kids that are just, you look on the sidelines and it's just the moms. It's always the moms. I'm like, how
That's heartbreaking to
is
see, yeah.
it is. And so if you're seeing that, right, what John is outside of the octagon,
hmm
he has to take into consideration that someone's looking at that, just like these rappers and everything else, and being like, you know what? Oh, I want to be that guy. So whether or not you sign up to be a role model, you're a role model, dude. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
And you should carry yourself in that way. That's just my take.
I mean,
So
yeah,
yeah, if you're
but
if you're asking me, would he still be in the conversation if he hadn't done any of those things? No, I personally have to take into consideration those things that he's done, because
okay.
they're not. It's not like he got busted with, I don't know, going over the speed limit. This dude, in his latest episode of being a arch criminal, was doing mushrooms and alcohol with some chick. So he finishes the night, I guess, whatever, and either they were going to continue going to party or he was taken home. I'm not really even sure what the story is. And he gets into an accident. So I saw a video. You could find it on YouTube. It's not hard to find. We'll link it here for you guys if you don't want to look for it. The cops get to the scene. The airbags have been deployed in the car. They start talking to her. She's naked from the waist down. This must be some party they were having.
This is all news to me. It's the first time I'm hearing this.
He he bolted. So the cops, she's in the passenger seat. The cops are asking her, "Hey, what's going on here? Like, why are you in a car with deployed airbags and missing half your clothing?" "Oh, I was with Jon Jones and Jon Jones the fighter." "Yes, Jon Jones the fighter." "Was he driving?" "Yes, he was the driver." So the cop starts radioing back to base and everything. So she's saying that she was with Jon Jones the fighter and whatever. And I guess somehow they get a hold of him. He's on the phone, and you can clearly tell it's Jon Jones. So he starts telling the guy, I have it here. It's a direct quote, and I'm going to put it up. Or I'll have you put it up. And look, he says, where is it? Guess what? Damn it. Guess what? You won't even be the first guy this year that I threatened. Swear to God, you'd be the second one. My brothers, they kill people for a way less. He threatens the cop, saying that he knows people who can come and off him. This guy is just...
Right, like, why would you say that's a cop?
And the way Dana still hangs on, because it's funny, because I saw something today about a reporter asked Dana who his pound for pound number one is now that Ilya has overtaken Islam as the pound for pound number one. Dana says, well, I have nothing to do with that stuff. You guys are the ones who decide who's the pound for pound number
time
one.
out.
So basically, this dude was saying that he can make bad things happen to these cops, right? Okay. So the reporter asked Dana how he feels about Ilya being number one. Mm-hmm. He goes, well, I have nothing to do with that stuff. You guys decide on that and everything. And because if you ask me, I tell you Jon Jones is the pound for pound. This dude is still crazy glued to John's dick. The guy has told you, made you look like the clown that you are by holding up the division for almost 2 years. Mm-hmm. And then he calls you up, supposedly is what you said, and says to you that he's retired. I'm going to put that clip up for you real quick so you guys can see that.
Heavyweight division take the title away from him.
Jon Jones called us last night and retired. Jon Jones is officially retired. Tom Aspinall is the heavyweight champion of the UFC.
So you can see there, supposedly, this is how Dana was informed that he was retiring. So the guy hasn't fought forever, held the division hostage forever, and now you're still saying that he's your pound for pound. Based on what? You're such a clown and you lack such credibility. It's hilarious. So also, I don't know if you saw this quote where he says, I feel really bad for Tom. We're going to take care of the kid. So this is the direct quote here. So you can see that, right? It's like, okay, gee, thanks. So I lost 2 years of my prime, and you're going to take care of me. I don't believe that Dana takes care of anyone unless you're a super giant star like Conor and stuff like that, whatever. Yeah. Did you see what that clown did or said?
Conor?
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen that. What happened?
He only makes himself relevant, or he.
Oh, what he said about Ilya, like, congrats on winning my old bouts. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, that exactly. I was like, dude, like he can't help. He's another one who can't help himself, right?
No,
Listen,
it seems like Ilya's gonna be probably the new Conor the way. Like they're having the exact same careers.
I saw that. I saw somebody making that comparison too, but I don't buy it in terms that Ilya will defend these belts. He will.
Yeah.
100%. It's going to be fun to see who he defends them against, but he's not going to be Conor. And Conor is only trying to make himself relevant by inserting himself in this discussion when nobody asked for his opinion. So whatever, bro. We know that you love drugs and partying more than you love your wife and more than you love fighting. That's fine, right? Nobody's judging. That's fine. But just like fade away, bro. Okay, MMA wise. So I think you said Justin is not fighting. Who was it supposed to be?
So apparently Drakus was in like a parking lot somewhere with some fan or with somebody, and he kind
I
of
saw that. Yes.
and he kind of said that Gagey and Pimblett is the co-main for the pay-per-view next month.
Yes. Yes.
But I looked it up, and Patty himself said that August is way too quick of a turnaround if you think that he's gonna fight, and that it's false rumors. Which I would think so, because Patty's probably pushing 195, 200 now, 205.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
It's insane the way that guy blows up and the way he cuts weight. It's
Yeah.
scary. Like
I don't think he's in camp right now.
I like the kid a lot, but you know, at some point your body's gonna just say, you know what? Hey, no, not having it, bro. I just hope it's much, much later rather than sooner, because there's no way you can be continually cutting 50 pounds of weight every 6 months. That's insane. It's crazy. All right, MMA wise, anything else?
I don't know if you want to just do like a quick runoff at the new pound for pound. Like,
Do you
I can
have
read
it?
you off. Yeah.
I don't-
I can read
I-
you
I-
off who's.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So all right. So here we go. So at 15 we have Charles. He dropped to 15. 14 Chimaev. 13 is, says it right here. Hold on, it kind of lagged for a second, but I did see that the new, yeah, okay, here it is. Okay, so 15 is Charles, 14 is Chimaev, 13 is Armin, 12 is Bilal, 11 is Max, 10 is Alex, 9 is Tom Aspinall, 8 is JDM, 7 Ankalaev, 6 is Volk. Pantoja with some respect finally moved all the way up to number 5.
That guy's so good.
4 Drakus, 3 Marab, 2 Islam, and 1 Ilya.
I saw.
I think Ilya and Marab should be 1 and 2.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not a fan of that pound for pound stuff. I don't know where they pulled these rankings out of. That Charles is 15 is crazy. I know he just got starched by Ilya, but that's crazy. Even before that, he was not, I think,
They had
fairly
guys
judged.
like O'Malley above him.
Yeah, the guy's a clown. And again, listen, it sounds like I hate him, but I don't. I really don't. I have nothing against Sean. I just think he's overrated. And I tend to really dislike guys that Dana wants to push, who he believes are talented, like O'Malley, as opposed to guys who are genuinely talented, like Oliveira, that he constantly screws. You know, that's my beef with O'Malley. I don't hate the guy. I just think he's overrated, and I think once Daddy Dana gets on your dick, you're
But,
good, man.
Other than that, I don't have anything MMA related unless like you do.
No, I'm good. I just wanted to unburden myself with this Charles thing and whatever. You know,
Yeah.
it's not by any stretch of the imagination going to stop hurting or whatever. But
It's
you know,
one of those things like you need to like talk about.
yeah,
Like,
and
to
and
just
now I
vent.
talked about. Yep, we got it out, and now it's just me being a little girl and avoiding all the posts and everything for the next couple of months, because I will,
Yeah.
because I don't want to see it. I sure as hell don't want to hear it. So, but yeah, it's out. All right, so let's move on to the bane of our existence, the Pittsburgh Steelers. So, I told you yesterday, it seems that with these guys, it's not even one step forward, 2 steps back. It's like 1 step forward, 4 steps back. I need to sit in a room and have either Khan, it can't be Tomlin because I'll kill him, Rooney, Smith, somebody needs to explain to me how we are adding yet another tight end on top of the 2 that we already don't use to the roster, and gave up a guy who, granted, is not in his prime anymore, or I wouldn't say he's not in his prime. He wasn't doing ball hawkish things at that position. But like you said, you know, guys just weren't throwing his way. And I think it's that and the combination of the way the Steelers played him, which they love to do that to guys. I saw something that was concerning to me. He hadn't had a pick since 2023, and the only one he had last year was against Lamar,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that was
And then so the stats, the way they come up with these things. So he had a completion rate of 79.4% against him, which is crazy in 2024. Now, again, based on what? I don't know if that's just, checkdowns or little drags over the whatever it is. It's still a really high number, but I would love to know how they came or arrived at that number. I don't know where it comes from, but that's one of the justifications that I saw that they had for trading him. I saw that the Steelers weren't actively shopping him, but that they were 100% willing to entertain offers for him, which is what happened.
So when I saw that we got Jalen Ramsey, I was excited, but I didn't think that we were getting 2018 Jalen Ramsey. But I was still excited because I was like, he's still one of the top corners in the league. I was like, now we got Ramsey, Slay, Porter, Minka, Elliott. I was like, that secondary, like I don't know who is gonna cook that secondary. Not a lot of teams can. And then that's when you had texted me saying that we got rid of Minka, and it was kind of like I was just so baffled because it's one of those like why, and because Minka is still he's only 28 years old, and Jalen Ramsey is 30. So Jalen Ramsey has got what, a year, maybe two left at like high performance, and then the fact that we let Minka go, how you brought up saying, oh, he had a 79.4 completion rate or something. I don't look too much into that because he's not a corner. His position isn't really meant to cover these guys. Like, he's not supposed to be in coverage. He's supposed
Yeah.
to just be the last result or the last resort.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I would love to. I'm gonna take a dive into it, and then for our next podcast, I'll find out how, because I would like to know, where do these numbers come from? What is that based on? Because you and I watched every single game last year, and to say that 80% of the passes thrown his way were completed sounds nuts,
Yeah, I
right?
think him not being on the team anymore, it definitely hurts the secondary room now. It it's one of those things that it's just it still hasn't really set in my mind. Like, I don't know why. Like, I wake up still thinking he's a part of the team, but he's not. He had the one pick last year, and it's also like, and I think people forget that 2 years ago he led the league in interceptions as a safety, and and you don't really see that a lot with guys at that position.
At that
And
position,
now,
right?
and now, we let him go. I personally believe that teams weren't throwing his way. Like, we ran a scheme where he was playing so far back because I think Tomlin and Terrell Austin, who don't know how he still has a job, had this mindset that we're going to keep everybody, and if all else fails, we have Minka 30 yards back. I think that was their plan or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that always seems to be the plan. And here to answer your question. Anytime you have a question as to how somebody on the Steelers staff is still on the Steelers staff, it's very simple. The Steelers are cheap. They don't pay. They prefer to promote in-house, and then they sell it to you by saying, well, we believe Benny has put his time in. He's shown some really good, he's taken some really big steps forward, and we felt it was time to give him a chance to show us what he can do at this X position. And so if you put that through a decipher machine, yeah, we're too cheap to really go out and pay for anyone who's really, really good at this position. So we decided just to promote someone from within the organization.
And talking about John Smith, yeah, I mean, he had a great year last year, but we already have two tight ends that we don't use.
He's a jerk. Like, he's a locker room problem.
Jonnu Smith?
Uh-huh.
No, but Jalen Ramsey is.
No, I know he is. I know he is.
Jonnu Smith isn't though.
Okay. I don't know.
Could
Maybe I
you
misread
have
that.
imagined DK Metcalf, Jalen Ramsey, and George Pickens all in the same locker room? Oh my God.
It would have been the Rolling Crips in Compton or something along those lines.
Yeah,
I don't care
it's,
how that sounds, but that's what it would have been.
But
Like-
now going into this season, I don't know. I mean, I still think we'll have a great defense, probably top 3, top 5 in the league, but I don't know. I just
Oh, but like I told you, right? So when you told me this, or was it? No, I think I did tell you this. Somebody else asked me this, how I felt about it, and I told them. So very clearly, what this says to me is that the Steelers, not the Steelers, Mike Tomlin wants to have a suffocating defense where
you
they
were the one
give
who
up.
told me this, yeah.
Oh, okay. I also told it to a lot of other people too, because one of my pickleball guys is a Steelers fan, and he asked me as soon as it broke, and I told him, I go, it seems to me that Tomlin is sticking by his philosophy, his 2002 philosophy of having a suffocating defense, and then having your offense put up 14 points, right? Your defense gives up 7 points, 10 points. You put up 14, and then you win 8 games. I saw a video where it says the Steelers have gone now and added Jonnu Smith and Jalen Ramsey, and they've gone from 9-8 to 9-8.
Minka Fitzpatrick for Jalen Ramsey and Jonnu Smith. Tell me. Holy fuck, mediocre Mike, the 500 record merchant is on the move. Congratulations to Steelers fans. This team would have easily won the 2017 Super Bowl. Pittsburgh just went from 9-8 to 9-8, but slightly more entertaining to watch on Sundays. They really annexed Pickens and Minka for a swole-ass steroid junkie and Jalen Glamsey, the sassiest DB in the NFL. The Steelers are known for their terrible towels, but we can also add terrible trades. That front office watched the tape of them getting bent the fuck over last year by Baltimore in the postseason and said, you know what would prevent this from happening again? If we had 3 tight end ones and a DB who's 3 years past his prime and would probably date Caleb Williams. Oh yeah, and let's sign a 40-year-old Aaron Rodgers just for the fuck of it. At least Minka gets one last hoorah with Mr. Can't Wear a Condom and Mr. Won't Wear a Guardian Cap in Miami. This team would have been an Avengers-level threat 5 years ago, but in 2025 they are 100% splitting with the Cleveland Browns. The only thing being developed in Pittsburgh is fucking arthritis. Aside from the 500 record fetish, this franchise seems to have a weird obsession with being the NFL's retirement home. The AFC North is in a fucking arms race to build secondaries to stop the billion-dollar receiving core the Beijing Bengals blew all their fucking money on. Aaron Rodgers must have brought all of his negative chakra to this city, because what the fuck are they building in that facility? Holy shit, I have a theory. Mike Tomlin is a football monk, and mediocrity is his religion. 9-8 isn't a record to him. It is a symbol of perfect balance. He is conducting a psyop to determine the exact threshold where a fan base and franchise remains loyal despite annual heartbreak. Mike is in an infinite employment loop of always doing just enough to retain his position. He is the 9-8 nexus. This is the Tomlin equilibrium. He has no interest in Lombardies or glory. He is the AFC neutralizer maintaining infinite stability through perpetual mid. Okay, actually, the Steelers just fucking suck. I didn't intend to dedicate my entire offseason to chronicling the painful erosion of Pittsburgh's organizational sanity. But fuck, Terry Bradshaw's alma mater has had one hell of a past 3 months.
Because
That's basically what. Yeah, that's how it is.
that's what's gonna happen. It's like you have moved the needle in exactly no direction. But it is what it is. Anything that distracts from what happened Saturday night, I'll happily rail on the Steelers.
Yeah, I know. What else? Also, I don't know if you saw this today, but TJ has set his asking price.
Oh God, what is it?
So I don't know I don't know if he's the highest paid or who currently is the highest paid at that position. It might be Myles Garrett. I'm not 100%
I think so.
sure. But TJ is seeking for $40 million a year. I think he was getting paid 28 or 30 on his current deal. So
It's not crazy.
It says he said that he's seeking for 40, which, I mean, why not? Because he's one of the few players on the team or in the NFL that you could be like, here's a blank check, write whatever you want.
And here's the thing too that makes me laugh is I think the Steelers need to get this deal done before Micah gets his, or it's going to be bad.
So I mean, we still have time, but I don't know.
We still have time.
Yeah, I don't know what
Yeah.
we're waiting on though.
Yeah, and speaking of the Steelers, right? Did you see what Joey said in regards to Aaron Rodgers?
I did not. What did he say?
He said the following. Let me read it verbatim, and then you can put it up there so that they can, the fans here can read it. He said, quote, "We ain't asking him to save us. We're asking him to not lose the 4 games we lose every year that we're supposed to lose. You know what I'm saying?"
I mean, I'm awake and I speak English, so I do know what you're saying. But this we have a schedule where, and I will talk about this with anybody because of what Joey just said. We have a schedule and we have the talent that, if used properly and with the right coaching, and I know it's not going to happen, but we have the schedule and the playmakers where we can win 13 games,
I don't disagree.
but we won't. So
We went to your mother's doctor on Tuesday,
that
and
was when
she was.
it happened. No, the trade.
I think
Yeah,
it
right?
was. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, yesterday. Today's Wednesday.
Yeah, yesterday,
No, Monday.
Monday. Okay.
Yeah, we went to the doctor to have her MRI read, and the doctor said, gives her the diagnosis and everything, and then her options, and they're setting her up for another test, and the guy sees your mom is wearing a Steelers t-shirt. He goes, I was gonna hook you guys up, but I see you're Steelers fans, so I'm not doing it. So he goes, we start laughing, and then we go, listen, as long as you're not a Cowboys fan. He's like, no, 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 no. He goes, I'm a Jets fan. I was like, oh, okay. He goes,
Yeah. All
he,
right.
he goes, we got you week 1. I go, yeah, and week 1, I go, it's a trap game. I said that to one of our friends, Chino, the other day,
Yeah.
and then he started laughing, and I go, why are you
We're
laughing? I
we're
go,
I'm not laughing.
I'm 100% serious.
Yeah. Win that game 13-10, 17-13.
Yep, it is, because that's how we do.
Yeah.
All right, so my sole Mets thing I had is I'm going to put this up real quick so you guys can see. I love it. I don't care. I have no problem saying I don't like the Mets. I won't say I hate them because my wife is a Mets fan. So they are still paying Bobby Bonilla, which is why I mentioned him earlier. I have Bobby Bonilla on the brain because it makes me laugh. The guy hasn't played in 100 years, and they're still paying him, and they still owe him 10 more payments of 1 point something million. But whatever. As far as the Yankees go, I don't know. I don't know what to say about them.
I do have some things to say. So as we've said before, and how I've said before, I invest myself with the Yankees more than the Steelers because I love baseball more, and I love the Yankees. The June slump, it seems, is spilling over into this early part of July, and it has me very upset because we're losing to teams that we shouldn't be losing. We shouldn't be dropping a game versus the A's. We shouldn't be down 2 games to the Blue Jays. We shouldn't lose 2 out of 3 to the Rays. We're losing these games. We shouldn't get swept by Boston. I don't know if you saw this, but a Yankee fan posted this. Our last 4 games, I'm pretty sure we've all lost, or maybe we're 1-3, but our bullpen ERA in the last 4 games is 10.13, and that is disgusting to hear about, especially now. And I don't know when we're gonna make some changes now, because now we're even closer to the All-Star break. We're now what, like 2 weeks away from it.
Mhm.
I don't know what we're gonna do. Just thinking it up.
And I've refrained from making any
Boom.
comments on this
Boom.
because this is going to turn into another Mike Tomlin conversation. At the end of the day, from the last slump that they had, this is an Aaron Boone problem. His answer was as if I'm the Steinbrenner, if I'm Hal Steinbrenner, I am asking him to tender his resignation effective immediately. You cannot give an answer like that to the media because you sound like a fool. You're basically saying, I don't know what's wrong with my team and I don't know how to fix it. And it's clear, and you can see in the results that he's been producing. Like at what, and he's another one. It's Groundhog Day with these two teams. What does this guy have to do to be held accountable?
I can sit here and critique every single player on the Yankees, but we would be here forever. But it's just baseball is not one player can carry. You know, this has been an ongoing thing since 2021. This so-called June slump that the Yankees always in.
Yeah, it's like the December swoon for the Steelers.
I don't know what we're gonna do because I think I saw like early June we had like a 7 or 8 game lead on second place. I don't know what it is now, but we're either in first place by a game or we fall into second place.
I'm sure. I'm sure that it sounds exactly like something that Aaron Boone would do.
We're in first place by 1 game.
We're in first place by 1 game.
And we fell
Yeah.
all the way to the 3 seed after being the 1 seed.
You know, and again, to have fallen like that based on the teams that we've been playing, Aaron Boone should be. I don't even know how to say it. That guy should be worried to hell. And if I was an owner, like I wouldn't be like, what's this guy? Oh my God, that was constantly firing coaches. You know, 1 year, 2 years, autumn, and then changing. You kind of have to let someone get their bearings in a position, especially if they're inheriting a team and they didn't build it. Whatever,
But
you
he's
you
been a
have
manager for almost 10 years now, and we have one World Series appearance to show for it.
Yeah, and he's just not, to me, getting the job done.
He's
But
not. Yeah.
on the WNBA front, Miss Clark is hurt again. Probably the only reason to watch the thing, and I check in constantly, repeatedly. So there's some sort of thing going on where the hate towards this chick from the players themselves is nuts. Like the players are voting her fourth in terms of all-star power, where
Well,
like
I don't know if you saw, and I don't know how the WNBA reacted to this, but the NBA had this thing where they would pick the 2 best players of that year to pick the all-star teams. And the WNBA, I guess, adopted that same rule where Caitlin Clark is one of the captains. So I haven't seen what anybody has said, or like if the WNBA players are like, "Oh my gosh, she's getting this now," like so. But I haven't seen anything about that. And I think their All-Star
Yeah.
break is in 3 weeks or so.
yeah, and then I saw something where they're have 2 expansion teams they're working on. I'm like,
I know they have one currently right now. I don't know what the other 2 are, or if there's 2 in the works. I know one of them is the Golden State Valkyries.
oh, I didn't even know who the state
Yeah.
was.
Yeah, that's all I know for right now.
I mean, no one's watching. I mean, like I said, if it wasn't for Caitlin Clark, I lose interest when she's not playing. I honestly do.
Because she's the whole point, yeah.
She's the league, and whatever. I wish I had news on the baby giraffe front. I don't. She hasn't done anything interesting other than
neither.
she showed up in some crazy outfit again, which I'm not going to give her the time
Yeah. I don't
to
have-
show.
Exactly.
So whatever, she can, when she if she wants to impress me, which I'm sure she doesn't really give a rat's ass about me, but if she wants to impress me, how about you play basketball? How about that? That'd be cool.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, that was pretty whirlwindish.
Yeah.
Like we said, we vented, we got some stuff out, made some really good, excellent points. We're looking to have some friends to share and do some banter with when it comes to our takes, so it doesn't seem like our takes are the only ones. Even though I'll keep saying this, our takes are not the typical fan takes because we're not biased. As a matter of fact, no one's probably harder on their teams than me and you. Right?
Let's make this to post on like the social media. Like, if you ever wanna join our show or wanna just make sure like one, you have to be following us, and two, drop any way to that we can reach out to you, and we'll try to set something up.
Yeah, 100%. Because it's as easy. That's a great idea. It's it's as easy as me sending you a link, and we can do this. I will say 100%. I will end it with the quickness. If you're not going to listen, right, the way you see the way Ben and I do the show, I'll talk, he talks. We don't really talk over each other. I'm not trying to make my point over you by talking louder and louder and louder. No. I will sit and I will listen to your point, and then you will sit and listen to my point. We'll have a discussion. I will have a discussion. I would love to have a discussion with any of you guys at any time. But that's what it's going to be. It's going to be a discussion. I'm not going to sit here and argue with you for 25 minutes.
Yeah.
We're not going to do that. But yeah, that's a fantastic idea. I would love to do that. Anyone who's interested in engaging with us, put it down in the comments, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
Yep. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, don't forget to turn on post notifications so you can stay up to date when we do make a post. I know we haven't posted in a minute, but we're going to get back on track with that. Make sure, and last thing, make sure to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube at the Spacetime Sessions. Jack, if you have anything you want to add?
Yeah, get bed, John. Hope we never hear from you again.
Yep. All right.
Take care, guys.
See ya.